What up, though, people? Thank you for pushing play on the Lion's Roar vlog again. We are on chapter 9 of the second book of Adam and Eve. Let's jump in. When Adam had ended his commandment to Seth, his limbs were loosened, his hands and feet lost all power, his mouth became dumb, and his tongue ceased altogether to speak. He closed his eyes and gave up the ghost. So remember, Adam was giving his testament. When they say commandment here, it means testament, his final words. Okay, he's giving his final words to his children and his children's children that are there. Okay, and that gave up the ghost means he transitioned. He's not breathing anymore. But when his children saw that he was dead, they threw themselves over him, men and women, young and old, weeping. Now, that sounds like more than, just Seth or Abel, right? That's more. And there was more by now. Remember, there's Mahalalel, there's Seth, there's Abel, there's like those are there's grandchildren, there's Canaan, there's children being born from them. So, there's the first fruitfulness and the first posterity is upon the planet. And they're all about to watch Adam, well, they're watching Adam take his transition from life to death. The death of Adam took place at the end of 930 years that he lived upon the earth. On the 15th day of Bermuda, after the reckoning of an epoch of the sun at the 9th hour. Okay, the epoch of the sun, that would be the birth. Okay, that would be like the point of our year, or even back then of their year, just at the point of time where the cycle comes. We know it oscillates, and there's a cycle. So the cycle starts here, comes around, comes back here. At the point of time where it crosses over here, that's that epoch that it's talking about. So it's saying that it was around the beginning of a new cycle, okay, at the 9th hour. It was on a Friday, the very day on which, oh, by the way, the death of Adam took place at the end of 930 years that he lived upon the earth. I'm going to that's a long time. Even in the beginning, I don't know. I'm just going to say, I don't know if that number reflects the same 930 that we're dealing with. And that can definitely be a thing, because it's like 2025 in the Roman calendar. The reality is that Earth has been here way longer than 2,000 years, and humans have been here way longer than 2,000 years. It's just the Roman calendar wants you to think whatever they want you to think. But the reality is, if we go all the way back then to these numbers that they're counting, 930 years, might only be 93 years here. I don't know. We do know that they were living younger, or maybe with us, we squared the number. Maybe it's only 300 and something years. I don't know. But I just find it interesting that that's a long time. And I mean, he has family coming from him. Remember Methuselah. You got Melchizedek. Like, you got these people who are like living all these like crazy long 700, 800, 900 years, right? So again, I don't know if it's a literal 900 years. But you know what? That would be a cool thing to look up for this vlog. So look it up and do it in a short. Like, hey, let's look at the timeline versus like now versus back then, and how things got called. Because for instance, like I'm always talking about with the 7 days, the 7-day theory, like, that the creator created the earth in 7 literal days. I don't think it was 7 literal days. Even the scripture says, in some translations, at the end of chapter 2, I think it is, it might even be chapter, it's somewhere between like 2 and 5, chapter 2 and 5, somewhere in there, it says, these are the generations of the beginning. And their accounts. Generation is not a day, but you can mention a day in those days That don't necessarily mean that it was like a few days and like, oh, in those days all that happened. No, it means like in that generation, in that era of time. You understand? So I don't know. That 930 years that's different, ain't it? It's a bit fascinating, but let's just keep moving. They was on something different back then. It's the beginning, so who knows? All right. All right, it was on a Friday, the very day on which he was created, and on which he rested, and the hour at which he died was the same as that at which he came out of the garden. So that's interesting. Then so I'm guessing that like they're basically saying like it's the same like time frame in the day or in the month or in the year or like just whatever season, whatever phase it was. Then Seth wound him up well and embalmed him with plenty of sweet spices from sacred trees and from the holy mountain. And he laid his body. There's a lot of typos here, and like where the H is supposed to be a B. Somebody was messing up. They was typing so fast they ain't even go back and proofread this. And me, I'm a writer. I'm an author. I am, and it's just very interesting. I noticed that. There's a few times where there's a B instead of an H there. My eyes always notice typos in works where there should not be typos. It's crazy when it happens because it be in books. You would be reading along. You just brought a book. I'm telling you, you will see a typo in there. If you really pay attention, they are there. They be in articles. I be seeing typos everywhere, but my eyes are tuned for that. So anyhow, and he laid his body on the eastern side of the inside of the cave, the side of the incense, and placed him in front of a lampstand that kept burning. Then his children stood, so they kept relighting, like they made sure to keep it burning. Then his children stood before him, weeping and wailing over him the whole night until break of day. Then Seth and Big son Enos and Kenan, the son of Enos, went out and took good offerings to present unto the Lord. So they're basically saying like Seth is older, Enos is older. They're grown. So they're saying like Enos, the man, but the son of Seth, and Enos' son, who is not grown yet. They went out and took good offerings to present unto the Most High, present unto the Lord. And they came to the altar upon which Adam offered gifts to God when he did offer. So where Adam used to give his offerings. But Eve said to them, wait until we have first asked God to accept our offering and to keep by him the soul of Adam and his servant and to take it up to rest. And they all stood up and prayed. That's the end of this chapter. Short video right now with this one. Not a lot of commentary. Like I said, Adam is on his way transitioning out. And, that's what we have going on. That's it, man. Next one, chapter 10. Peace.